You'll often find that the best way to communicate numerical information is to use a visual aid such as a chart. In this lesson, you'll insert a new chart on a slide. We want to add a new slide with this chart that will eventually show the results of a survey. A chart is a graphical representation of numerical data. When you insert a chart object into PowerPoint, you're actually embedding it. An embedded object is just like any other object on a slide, except that its data source can be opened and edited. In this case, PowerPoint uses tools from Microsoft Excel to edit the data source and create charts. Let's get started. In step 1, I'll click Slide 9. And to create a new slide, I'll press the Enter key. A new blank slide is inserted, and it uses the same layout as Slide 9, the Content with Caption layout. We want to change the slide layout, so in Step 2, I'll make sure the Home tab is selected. Then in the Slides group, I'll click the Layout button, and I'll click Title and Content. In Step 3, I'll click the title placeholder, and I'll type Customer Survey. Then down here, I'll click the Insert Chart icon. This dialog box offers many different types of charts, and they're organized into these categories here on the left. Be sure to see the table in your book that explains these chart types. The clustered column chart is the default chart type, and that's what we want to use, so in Step 4, I'll click OK. And after a moment, the chart appears on the slide. And above it is this worksheet which contains sample data. To create charts, PowerPoint uses Microsoft Excel, so what you're actually seeing is a miniature version of Excel right here in PowerPoint. An Excel worksheet is made up of rows and columns. These numbers along the left side are called row headings, and the letters along the top are called column headings. In Step 5, I'll move the pointer over the worksheet. All of these places where the rows and columns intersect are called cells, and cells are referred to by their location. For example, the cell at the intersection of column A and row 6 is called cell A6. I'll click cell C4, and it becomes the active cell, which means that it's currently selected and has this thick green border around it. Now, the cells here in column A and the ones here in row 1 contain data series labels. A data series label simply identifies the information in a row or column. For example, category 1 is the label that identifies this row of data. And down in the chart, these labels appear here along the bottom. The data series labels here in the top row appear down here in the chart's legend. A legend keys the data in a chart to certain colors or patterns. The cells containing the sample data are called a data series. A data series is a column and row of data. And in the chart, each one has a corresponding data series marker, and that's just a graphical representation of the data. So for example, the data series labeled Category 4, this row here, is represented in the chart by these 3 vertical bars. And the data in Series 3, this column, is specifically represented by each of the blue bars in the chart. We'll enter the actual data for our chart in the next lesson, so for now, in Step 6, I'll click the Worksheet's Close button. I also want to point out the Chart Tools Design tab here on the ribbon, which contains commands for working with charts. Here in the Chart Layouts group, I'll click the Quick Layout button, and in Step 7, I'll preview some of these layouts. Notice how each one affects the location of different chart elements. Now I'll click Layout 1. This layout moves the legend over here to the right and increases the size of the data series markers. Finally, in step 8, I'll click a blank area, and I'll save our work. To try these steps yourself, and for some additional tips, and to see that table that describes the different chart types, turn to page PowerPoint 56 in your book.